Economics, the beginning. The study of economics starts with the basic economic concepts. But remember, it is meant to develop the power of economic reasoning. It is to equip you with the basic tools of economics to analyze economic issues, to find applications in individuals, families, societies, and nations, to use the knowledge in eradicating poverty and unemployment from the society, to find solutions to other economic problems such as inflation, recession, population explosion, adverse balance of payments. We are at the beginning of our journey. Easy one makes us to learn easy study. You can easily learn the following within a few minutes. Meaning of economics. Features of various definitions. What critics say about these definitions. Understand the basic problems of an economy. Different types of economies. Understand how different economies solve their basic problems. An insight into the tool of production possibility curve. What is economics? Look around the society in which you live. You will find farmers, traders, mechanics, teachers, doctors, laborers. What are they doing? They are engaged in different economic activities. Some of them are engaged in the production of goods and services. Some of them are consuming these goods and services. It is true that producers of some goods are consumers of other goods, but let us classify them as producers and consumers. Producers engage in the production of goods and services. Consumers consume these goods and services. Producers want to sell their goods and services. Consumers want to buy goods and services. Let us think about consumers first. Why do they demand goods? They demand goods to satisfy their wants. The demand for a commodity depends on consumers' attitude and reaction towards that commodity. The consumer's attitude depends on several factors: price of the commodity, taste of the consumers, their income. Now consider the other parties, producers. Why do they supply goods? To make money. Profit is the motivation, you are right. How do people produce goods and services? Production of goods and services requires resources. Resources are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. They are called factors of production. They are the productive sources. The resources are limited. That means producers have only limited resources to produce goods and services. Consumers have unlimited wants. They can satisfy only some of their wants, leaving many others unsatisfied. Economics teaches us how to transform the limited resources into goods and services to satisfy the most important wants. Economics is the study of how to distribute limited resources to satisfy unlimited wants. We get more understanding about the subject, economics, if we study the definitions. Science of wealth. Economics is a science which deals with wealth. Wealth becomes the main focus of the study of economics. Adam Smith, the father of economics, wrote a book entitled An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of the Nations in 1776. He has defined economics as the study of the nature and causes of the generation of wealth of a nation. The definition of economics as a science of wealth had some merits. It recognizes economics as a systematized body of knowledge rather than a technique of raising revenues for the state. It makes the object of study very clear: to study those activities which help in acquisition of wealth. Economic liberty and free trade without state intervention were the watchwords. Critics say that this definition considers economics as a science of money making. The object of economics is not wealth, but physical welfare of man. The emphasis of this definition is on acquisition of wealth. Utilization of wealth is more important than holding of wealth. Intangible services such as teaching, singing are also to be produced. Critics say this definition has neglected physical welfare of man, utilization of wealth, and intangible services. Science of material well-being. Alfred Marshall shifted the emphasis of economics from wealth to welfare. Economics is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines that part of individual and social action which is most closely connected with the attainment and with the use of the material requisites of well-being. According to Marshall, economics is a study of human beings, not of bees, animals, or plants. Economics is concerned with the economic aspect of human life. It studies how man earns his income and how he spends it. Economics studies economic and material welfare of man. Critics say that it ignores non-material things. Only material things are included. The relationship between economics and welfare is not justified. Manufacturing alcohol is an economic activity, but not to human welfare. The welfare cannot be quantitatively measured. The utility devoted by a poor person from a product is much more than that derived by a rich person. Science of choice making. Robbins introduced the scarcity definition of economics. Economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. Since human beings have unlimited wants, we have to make a choice. That is why economics is a science of choice making. The means to satisfy wants are limited. The economic problem arises because most of the resources are scarce. The means of resources are capable of being put to alternative uses. The steel can be used to produce cars or bikes. Critics say economics cannot be treated as a purely positive science. This definition treats economics as a positive science only. The distribution of national income involves welfare conditions. Scarcity is not always the root of economic problem. Abundance of goods can also be an economic problem. Critics argue against narrowing the scope of economics as allocative role. The ways and means of the creation of resources are ignored in this definition. Science of Dynamic Growth and Development. Professor Paul A. Samuelson has given a comprehensive definition. Economics is the study of how man and society choose, with or without the use of money, to employ scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses, to produce various commodities over time and to distribute them for consumption now and in the future. This definition has been termed as the growth-oriented definition of economics. It stressed on the problem of scarcity of means in relation to unlimited ends. It is dynamic and wide in scope. It includes element of time and growth. It deals with the problem of choice. Central problems of an economy. Human wants are unlimited, and productive resources with which to produce goods and services to satisfy these wants are limited. The problem of how to use limited resources to attain maximum satisfaction is generally called the economic problem. Economic problem is concerned with the use of scarce resources among alternative human wants and in using these resources towards the end of satisfying wants as fully as possible. The central economic problems are what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, what provision should be made for economic growth, what to produce. The society has to decide which goods and in what quantities are to be produced. How to produce? There are various techniques of production. There are various alternative techniques of producing a commodity. The society has to decide which technique has to choose among them. For whom to produce? It implies how the national product is to be distributed among the members of the society. This is sharing the national cake among the people constituting the society. We cannot satisfy all wants of all the people. Hence, the society has to decide who should get how much from the total output of goods and services. What provision should be made for economic growth? A society has to make a choice between current consumption and provision for capital goods. Provision for capital goods are necessary for economic growth. The sacrifice of some current consumption for promoting economic growth is a problem for countries like India. The present consumption levels are very low. There is also the need for economic growth. The problem of what provision should be made by sacrificing current consumption for economic growth is a difficult problem in such countries. Types of economies. Capitalistic economy. Capitalistic economy is a free economy. The resources like factories, machines are owned by private entrepreneurs. The producers are free to use the resources to produce commodities they want to produce. In this system, the motive behind an economic activity is profit making. The producers always try to maximize profit. There is class struggle between the haves and the have-nots. How they solve economic problems? They will produce those goods the prices of which are relatively high. The producers are interested in maximizing their revenue. They will adopt that technique, the cost of which are relatively low. The producers are interested in minimizing the cost of production. They will produce goods and services for those buyers who will pay the maximum price. The producers are interested in maximizing their profit. Socialistic economy. In socialistic economy, all the factors of production are owned, managed and controlled by the public sector. Government is the decision maker regarding distribution, exchange, price fixation, quantity of production. The economic activities are directed towards social welfare. How they solve economic problems? The problems are solved by the government to maximize social welfare. They will produce those goods which the government finds as most useful for the society. They will adopt that technique of production which is socially most useful. They will produce goods and services for those who are suffering from hunger or starvation, even when it implies loss in production. Mixed economy. Mixed economy combines the merits and avoids the demerits of capitalistic and socialistic economies. The property is owned by private or public or both. It is a planned economy. There is balanced regional development. Dual system of pricing is done. How they solve economic problems? Mixed economy combines the merits and avoids the demerits of capitalistic and socialistic economies. Decisions regarding what, how, for whom to produce are taken on the basis of price mechanism and social consideration. Production possibility curve. Production possibility curve represents graphically alternative production possibilities facing an economy. Consider an economy which decides to produce two products, cloth and wheat. Let us make certain assumptions about this economy. We assume that there is a given amount of productive resources. It means that productive resources like land, labor and capital equipment remain fixed. We also presume that technology does not undergo any change. We rule out any progress in technology. We assume that the given resources are being used fully and with utmost efficiency. This means resources given are neither unemployed nor underemployed. We have made the following assumptions. 1. Fixed resources. 2. Full employment. 3. Full use of production capacity. 4. No progress in technology. All these assumptions imply that we are looking at our economy at some particular point in time or over a short period of time. It will be unrealistic to rule out changes in these assumptions over a long period of time. We have constructed the following table showing various production possibilities between cloth and wheat. Alternative production possibilities. Production possibilities A, B, C, D, E, F. Cloth 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wheat 15, 14, 12, 9, 5, 0. Possibility A. All the given resources are employed for the production of wheat. 15 units of wheat and 0 units of cloth we get. Possibility F. All the resources are devoted to the production of cloth. 5 units of cloth and 0 units of wheat are produced. But these are two extreme possibilities. In between the two, there will be many other production possibilities such as B, C, D and E. Possibility B. The economy can produce with given resources 14 units of wheat and 1 unit of cloth. Possibility C. The economy can have 12 units of wheat and 2 units of cloth, and so on. As we move from possibility A towards F, we draw away some resources from the production of wheat and use them to the production of cloth. As we move from A to B, we sacrifice 1 unit of wheat for the sake of 1 unit of cloth. With a full employment and a full use of production capacity, an economy must always give up something of one good to obtain some more of another. Limited resources prevents an economy from having more of both the goods. The alternative production possibilities can be illustrated graphically by plotting the data of the table on a graph paper. Production possibility curve. Cloth along the x-axis, wheat along the y-axis, A, B, C, D, E, F. The curve AF is obtained when the data of the table are plotted. This curve AF is called the production possibility curve. It shows the various combinations of two goods which the economy can produce with a given amount of resources and a given technology. It illustrates that an increase in the production of cloth necessitates a decrease in the production of wheat. As we move from A towards F on the production possibility curve, we sacrifice some units of wheat for having more of cloth. On the other hand, if we move up from F towards A, we will be giving up some of cloth for the sake of more of wheat. Case 1. 100% efficiency. The resources are being utilized fully and with utmost efficiency. The economy is working at the level of full employment and using its productive capacity fully. We are looking at our economy at some particular point in time or over a very short period of time. We presume that technology does not undergo any change. If all the given resources are employed for the production of wheat, 15 units of wheat A is produced. If all the given resources are employed for the production of cloth, 5 units of cloth F is produced. With the production possibility B, the economy can produce with given resources 14 units of wheat and 1 unit of cloth. As we move from A to F, we draw away some resources from the product of wheat and devote them to the production of cloth. In full employment economy and with a full use of production capacity, more of one good can be obtained only by cutting down the production of another good. The curve AF is called the production possibility curve or production possibility frontier. It shows the various combinations of two goods which the economy can produce with a given amount of resources and a given technology. The production possibility curve is also called transformation curve because in moving from one point to another on it, one good is transformed to another, not physically, but by transferring resources from one use to another. Case 2. Less than 100% efficiency. Underutilization of resources. Cloth along x-axis, wheat along y-axis. U, inside production possibility curve. H, outside production possibility curve. R, Q, S. Consider the points U and H. With the given resources being fully employed and utilized, the combination of two goods produced can lie anywhere on the production possibility curve AF, but not inside or outside it. The combined output of two goods can neither lie at U nor at H. This is because at point U, the economy would not be utilizing its resources fully, and at point H would lie beyond the capacity of the economy to produce. However, during those periods when the economy is not fully utilizing its resources or not using them most efficiently, output combination of two products can lie below the economy's production possibility frontier, such as at U. Then the economy can produce more of both the goods, R, or more of either of the two goods, Q or S, by putting ideal resources to work. If the economy is working at U, then by using its ideal resources fully and most efficiently, it can move from U to Q or to R or to S on the production possibility curve PP. Case 3. Greater than 100% efficiency. Shift in production possibility curve due to economic growth. P, P, P dash, P dash. The production possibility curve PP is drawn with a given amount of productive resources like land, labor, and capital equipment. If these productive resources increase, the production possibility curve will shift outward and to the right. Then more of both goods can be produced than before. When the economy makes progress in technology, that is, when the scientists and engineers discover new and better way of doing things, the PPC will shift to the right and will indicate the possibility of producing more of both the goods. Technological progress, by improving productive efficiency, allows the society to produce more of both the goods with a given and fixed amount of resources. When supplies of resources increase or an improvement in technology occurs, the production possibility curve shifts outward from PP to P dash P dash. On production possibility curve P dash P dash, the economy can produce more goods than on curve PP. The increase in the amount of capital, natural and human resources, and the progress in technology are determinants of economic growth. Thus, with the growth of the economy, production possibility curve shifts outward. Suppose the economy is working at a point below its production possibility curve due to the lack of aggregate demand. The policy measures should be adopted to raise the aggregate demand. The increase in aggregate demand will bring a shift of the economy from a point below the production possibility curve to a point on it. This will mean full employment of available labor and capital resources. As a result, national income, output, and employment will rise. Suppose the economy is working at a point on its production possibility curve. The increase in national income, output, and employment cannot be increased by simply raising aggregate demand. The policy measures should be adopted to increase capital accumulation and making a progress in technology. These measures will generate economic growth and production possibility curve will shift from PP to P'. As a result, national income, output and employment will rise. We have learned production possibility curve. It is very easy.